Hey, what's up, man? This another one. I see a lot of people talking about white privilege and, we want reparations. Black people want reparations for what y'all put us through. All white people own slaves, what your ancestors did, bro. Look, for the most part, in my opinion, and as far as the stuff I've looked through, I would say that, most of the people that were enslaved were black. We're dark, but that's where you get it twisted at with the African American thing, because we did not all come from Africa, man. You know what I'm saying? Look, you know what I'm saying? There's so much out there. There was there's three sets. There's three different so-called black people: the Aboriginal of America, the ones that were already here. You got the European African American that came over here after the Black Plague, and you got the African Americans. Okay, that came over here from the west coast of Africa, which is known today as Ghana. All right. And another side note, that they were called the Ashanti Empire, the Ashanti dynasty, and they the ones that sold us out, man. So all you people out here wearing the kente cloth and shit, do what you do, but just know that kente cloth is a direct making of what that empire came up with. The kente cloth, that was their garb. Okay. So we're just gonna debunk the whole thing about all white people own black people and black people were all slaves, bro. There was black people that owned slaves. There was black people that were slaves. Just like there was white, Native American, everybody else. It was all different ways. It went by off of your bloodline and how much land and shit you had. It was off of status. It wasn't off of color, man. So what y'all need to start with, what I suggest starting with is somebody they never talk about. But he is the reason that there is slavery, known as chattel slavery, which is the property aspect of it, to where once you become a slave under the chattel slavery, you're enslaved for life, and as well as your kids. That's the difference between chattel slavery and indentured servitude. All right, indentured servitude, you would serve 7-year terms as a slave, and then you'll be free. All right, but this dude's name is Anthony Johnson, bro, and he is a black man. Okay, so when you talking about Black Lives Matter, do this motherfucker life matter? Shit, it don't matter to me. Fuck this nigga. All right, what are you gonna say? What it say? What is this? This is Facing Our History, I think. It's like called Facing Our History. But you can just do a quick Google search. Type in Anthony Johnson Court or Anthony Johnson Chattel Slavery, Anthony Johnson whatever. And in 1622, an African named Antonio appeared in the historical record of Virginia. And Antonio, who would become known as Anthony Johnson, was enslaved by an English settler in the early 1600s. Enslaved Africans, enslaved Native Americans, and European indentured servants labored in Virginia tobacco fields. Indentured servants agreed to work for a planter for a specific period of time in exchange for their passage from the New World, and then they would often become free. The enslaved, either Native Americans or Africans, forced to come to North America, were also sometimes able to gain their freedom. All right, you can go all the way through here. But he had a court hearing where he actually took it to the government took it to the court, and his indentured servants, their time was up. They was also black. They 7 years, they had served their 7-year terms, and if I'm not mistaken, they actually served longer than that. He gave them like another 4 years on top of that. But he took it to court and said these people should work for me for life, and that shit went through, and they were indentured to him for life, bro, as well as their offspring. So don't get it twisted, man. Like I said, a lot of times people give, you know what I'm saying, you give a certain amount of people a certain amount of power by not acknowledging the spiritual aspect of it. You make it seem like these people just have all this power over us, man. They do not. All right, they use us. They use our people to reel us in, man. To reel us in. It's no different than what they're doing now. Don't let nobody fool you, bro. Every American citizen is slaves under the 13th Amendment. Okay, every American citizen, not just black. Shit.